Wojciechowski at his Hall of Fame weekend here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Greg, why don't we start in the beginning? How'd you get involved in wrestling, and why'd you decide to seek excellence in this sport?
Well, my dad got me started at the Toledo Health Club doing kids classes. I was 8 years old. He had a little ad in the paper, and half tumbling, half wrestling, and that's where I began.
Did you like it immediately? Was it something you took to, or did it take a while to decide this was something
I
you
did.
wanted to do?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Did you have some early mentors that were coaches, teammates, people that helped encourage you and build your career when you're in high school and as a youth?
Yeah. I had some great mentors. First of all, Dick Torrio at his health club. He was a great teacher. But Joe Scalzo Sr. was the founding father of wrestling, and he took my first airplane ride with him, in fact. And then Dick Wilson was a three-time Olympian. First I saw him at Torrio Health Club. I was 9 years old, and he had a USA Olympic, his Olympic rings on there. Mm-hmm. And I asked my dad, what's that all about? And he explained to me what the Olympics were. So I set a seed in my head, a goal.
Well, and that goal led you through high school. You stayed champ, right? Which is real hard in Ohio. But talk about the decision to go to the University of Toledo. Was it to be around the same people that you grew up with? And what was it like being part of that wrestling team on that campus?
That was it, exactly. I had Dick Torrio there, and Harvey Bowles ended up the coach at the University of Toledo for 20 years. Mm-hmm. There was a 10-year period. All he was doing most was working out with me.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, he obviously was a good workout partner. It's not always easy for a heavyweight to get someone good to work out with. How important was he to help you become an NCAA champ?
Real important. He's 6'4" and 230. Mm-hmm. And when I was in high school, on Tuesday and Thursday nights, we'd wrestle. He'd teach me from like 8 to 9:30. And then he continued, and Torrio continued wrestling with me all through college. But being a wrestler in Toledo, wrestling wasn't a minor sport in Toledo. I think Joe Scalzo, our founding father, he connected with the media and stuff, and we were treated well by the press.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, let's talk about the culture of wrestling in Toledo. I mean, for a while it was like an international center of excellence. You guys held the World Cup every year. There was a World Championships in Toledo. What made Toledo a special place to be part of? Because you were part of the journey as that city every year would help host international events and really seemed to love the sport.
It was really, I think we had, thanks to Joe Scalzo, Dick Torrio, Dick Wilson, we had an educated fan base. And we had people come there. I was at a lot of national championships, Olympic tryouts even, and it wasn't near as many people because a lot of people, they liked folk style, but they couldn't appreciate, didn't understand freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling.
But they sure did in Toledo. I mean, I've been to the World Cup there a few times early in my career. It just seemed like the whole city would get involved and support the events.
That was it. Again, I think it's Joe Scalzo's leadership. He got the industry behind it, the businesses, and people. There's 100 people in the Toledo Area Wrestling Association. Mm-hmm. Probably 70 of them are active that help run things in Toledo.
Back in your day when you were wrestling, you did both Greco and freestyle, which is not common these days. What was it, the decision that you made to compete in both styles, and why were so many of the other good guys doing them both too?
I wanted really, as a great goal of mine, is to make the Olympic team. Freestyle and Greco-Roman gave me 2 chances. If I just did the one sport, it'd only be 1 chance. So basically that was it, and I enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, they're different, but obviously you were able to convert that. With heavyweights too, that Greco didn't hurt you in freestyle as a heavyweight, did you?
No, it totally, totally helped me. When I wrestled freestyle, then I saw just so many openings.
Now, you were in the unlimited era, so you wrestled guys that weighed 400 pounds, some of these legends that people still talk about. As a man your size, what did it take to beat somebody who, might have weighed a lot more than you?
Took power and endurance, and you had to circle. I eventually learned how to wrestle the giant heavyweights, but I was 29, 30 years old when I hit my prime, my full power, and I had about 13 matches with Chris Taylor.
Wow.
460 pounds. I think when I first beat him, he was maybe 390 or 400. Last beat him, that was 1970.
You had some other big ones like Pete Lee and others, right?
Jimmy Jackson. Jimmy Jackson was 6'6", about 380. Pete Lee was 6'2", about 380. So,
Yeah, we don't see those heavyweights anymore. They put a cap on the heavyweight. What do you think about that? Should the big guys still be part of what we do?
no, I think you should have the cap on the weight. You just couldn't wrestle those real big guys.
Yeah.
I think the wheels got set in motion when Chris Taylor he embarrassed the Russian heavyweight in the Olympics in '72. Medved, probably the greatest heavyweight ever. He beat him, but he almost he did one move early. He got a takedown. He tried to do the same move again, and he almost got crushed. Used a lot of energy, and they should have cautioned him out for stalling in that match.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a lot of wrestling all over the world. What was it like to travel the world as part of the wrestling community? Because, I mean, we would go behind the Soviet bloc, back into other countries that maybe other Americans never were at. What was that journey like for you to compete overseas?
Oh, it was amazing. I'm third generation Polish descent. I was the first one to take an airplane ride. So it was with Joe Scalzo the first time in 1967. I was a 16-year-old kid, and little did my parents and I know that 3-4 months later I'd be jetting around Europe with the first junior world team. And it's a tremendous educational experience. Being behind the Iron Curtain, you learn how to appreciate our country and our system.
Now you get to see what it's like for people that may not be from a country like the United States that had so much power and wealth, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the key things that wrestlers learn when they travel and compete for our country, which you did many times. I wanted to ask you your input and your personal impact from the boycott in 1980. Obviously, you talked about your goal of being an Olympian, and the opportunity didn't happen for you and others that were our best wrestlers. Looking back, what are your thoughts about that decision, how it impacted you and your teammates?
It hurt, no doubt, and the 1980 Olympic team was going to be good, where a whole lot of us were reaching our peak. Guys like Russ Hellickson, Ben Peterson, Lee Kemp, Yagla. I mean, we had a great team. Bobby Weaver, Gene Mills. We had a great team. We didn't get to go. A lot of those guys suffered more than I did because I had another life. I had a wife and 3 kids at home. I had 8 years on a mortgage. I was 8 years in a teaching career. So I went back to normal life. In fact, I had to get back to start working. I had a good part-time job at Roadway Express, the truck line, loading trucks, and I pretty well depended on that at least once a week to work. So I'd have loved to have been in that Olympic parade. I'd have loved to have stepped on that mat, that platform mat, it was in Moscow that year, the Olympics. But I adjusted. It didn't hurt me as much as it did a whole lot of those other guys.
Oh, and that Olympic trials, you wrestled young Bruce Baumgartner, right? He
Yeah,
was, 19, 20 maybe? He was still just getting into college. What was he like? How good was he even at that age? I mean, obviously, you'll see him. He's still around. He's our president at USA Wrestling. What was it like you beat him, but also to wrestle somebody who ended up being so good?
Well, Baumgartner was tough. I mean, the first few times I wrestled him, it might have been 10 points. I probably beat him by about 10 points. Totally exhausted afterwards, though. He just kept coming and coming and coming, his leg shots. I countered his leg. He shot in on his knees at that time. I was able to do the freestyle tilts and stuff to score some points on him. But at the end, you think at a 10, 12-point lead that I could have coasted a little bit. I was just totally exhausted. Baumgartner did not know the meaning of quit. First couple of times I beat him by a pretty good margin. At the final training camp, he was serving notice already. Final training camp, I think I beat him 7-4 or maybe 6-3.
Yeah, no, I mean you got to see a change of the guard at heavyweight when he came by, right?
And like you say, he was just a kid at the time, and I was a wily old veteran at 29.
Now you did some pro wrestling, right? Talk about
Yes.
your time in the ring and what you remember about being part of, because that's a different culture than our Olympic or amateur wrestling. What was that experience like for you?
It's altogether a different skill set, but I did it on a part-time basis. I was already locked on my teaching job and everything. But I traveled around, right? I never got really good. I don't regret doing it. I made some money, but I was never got great at it. I didn't have enough mat time or ring time, I guess would be the word. It's an art. There's an art
Kurt
to
Angle
it.
told me it's a whole different sport, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's an art to it. They use me basically as somebody could really wrestle. And sometimes I take challengers out of the stands. If they could pin me, they get $10,000. just promote the sport. And as a champion, I could challenge all the other guys to go belt for belt if you want to come. So they use me just as a enforcer, I guess.
Yeah, no, that had to have been a lot of fun ultimately, right? I mean, although I've heard some crazy things where people have had real difficulties in their lives when they did that for too long.
I'm glad I didn't do it full time. It's a tough life.
What did you enjoy about coaching? I know you coach kids, high school kids, youth over the years. As a coach, how did that motivate you to stay involved?
I just really enjoyed working with kids, I guess, and I still do. My son Chad's the head coach at Toledo Bowser in Toledo, and I can't coach or teach anymore. I retired on a disability, kind of a dissected aorta, but I enjoy taking kids to the gym in the summer. I guess I'm a booster or a mentor, or whatever you want to call me, but just working with kids and watching kids progress.
So let's talk a little bit about being here this weekend. I mean, your whole life you gave yourself fully to the sport of wrestling, and now wrestling's saying thank you. You're one of the greats of our history. How's the experience been once you heard about it, and the fact that you're now here in Stillwater with all the legends of our sport?
It's really a great feeling. I felt like I completed the circle. Dick Torrio, my mentor's in, Dick Wilson's in, Joe Scalzo's in. I was a beneficiary. Their work collectively, the biggest beneficiary. And I'm really happy to be here. I walked in the Hall of Fame yesterday just to look around.
Yep.
It's awesome. I felt, I just feel humbled by the whole experience.
Well, I mean, and we're here to have a good time. Did you get some family come with you?
Yeah, I got, my son's en route now, and he's got 3 or 4 of the guys that I've been mentoring and his assistant coach, and my wife Hilda's with me also.
So, I mean, looking back, what's the sport of wrestling meant to you personally? Now that you've gone from athlete to coach to honoree here at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, it was my ticket. I still identify myself as a wrestler. I mean, I was a teacher. I worked in inner city, but I still identify myself as a wrestler, and I'm proud to be.
Well, congratulations on this great honor. We look forward to seeing you up on the stage and having your family and friends join you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here.
Excellent.